Open rate today is a lot trickier to track than it used to be. There's a lot of fake opens, especially if you've got lots of Apple devices or people checking their email from Apple devices because they show you false opens. Like every email you mail will show up as opened. I don't discard open rates completely. I've never really based my business on open rates, but I've also never discarded them completely because it still tells me whether a subject line is good. It still tells me whether a list is of good quality. And it still tells me whether there's any kind of interest with that particular angle. Because remember, one of the easiest ways to test angles or different directions you can go with in your copy is your subject lines. As you know, my book List Building Lifestyle Confessions of an Email Millionaire, Confessions of an Email Millionaire was a winning subject line. So it's a tool for you to test things out and to see what's generating better response. Now, at this point in my life, um, I will probably only look at the open rate for that. I will also look at the open rate for the sake of maybe trying to understand whether mailing at a certain time of day is more effective than at another time of day. And actually, last year I switched when I was my mail out times because of that, because I've seen a drop in open rates, and I knew my delivery rates were okay. So I changed the when, right? So I didn't change the what, I changed the when I send it out, and that seemed to have a positive effect. Um, but yeah, I guess largely I'd agree. I'd agree that open rates largely don't matter. And you know what? We can even take that argument to the next step, to the next level, and say that clicks don't matter either. Because what if you generated lots of clicks, but you didn't make tons of sales? But you see, that's an argument that you can make for anything. You know, you can say, well, do webinars at MD matter? I say they do. But I also had webinars where somebody brought 250 people in the webinar, and we only closed maybe 1% instead of the usual 10. Well, do attendees not matter? Well, in this case, they don't because sales showed me that they don't. But in general, would I judge the success of my campaign as one of the factors to be attendance? Yes, absolutely. To the same extent, if I like did a webinar and the attendance was lower than usual, but I still made the sales, the conversions, etc., I would not like I wouldn't say that attendance doesn't matter. I would just say that that particular angle for that particular webinar with that particular audience, it didn't seem like people wanted to attend the webinar. Maybe the interest wasn't there, but the ones who did attend converted, which means we do have a good webinar content, but maybe we should work on a different angle, right? Again, you have to be very agile in your thinking. You can't just say this matters or this doesn't matter. Opens matter, clicks matter, sales matter, opens don't matter. It can't be as one-sided as that. Although you do hear a lot of people say that, specifically about open rates. I was speaking to a buddy of mine, Matthew, who works with some of the bigger publishers in the info space. And I told him, hey, we're getting this, this much open rate. And he's like, well, yeah, but open rates don't matter anymore. I say, why? I was like, well, because you got fake opens, you got this, and blah blah blah, and it's all about the clicks or it's all about the sales. Yeah, on one hand, you're right. On the other hand, if I'm mailing out a subject line and I'm getting a crappy open rate, it tells me something. It gives me something. It's an information piece I can then use to make a decision, whether it's a creative decision or a technical decision. What if I mail something and the open rate is half of my usual open rate? That means I triggered something. Either I'm not hitting the right angle, maybe my email delivery went down, right? Maybe open rate is a good indication of whether or not you get delivered. So not black and white, but largely, yeah, I'd say that it's not the end of the world. As far as the open rates go, it's not like if I get high open rates, I'm going to make a lot of money, and if I don't get high open rates, I don't. That's not really true.